Someone waits for me.
This is Ken Carpenter welcoming you to the Bing Crosby Show, presented by Chesterfield, produced and transcribed in San Francisco. With John Scott Trotter and his orchestra, Judd Collins with the mayors and Bing's guests, Miss Peggy Lee and Mr. Fred Allen. And now, this being Boy Scout Week, it gives me great pleasure to present a former boy who is still a good scout, Bing Crosby.
Say, you're right, Ken. I mean, you're right about This is the 40th anniversary of the Boy Scouts.
Yes, sir.
Ken, the Boy Scouts is truly a wonderful organization. As a matter of fact, I really thought of it, but I didn't think I should. I was going to wear my old scout uniform tonight.
Yes?
But it's got a little tighter right around the merit badge. Binds me a little.
It's a little snug around the canteen.
Now you'll tell you what. Well,
did.
look who's here, our favorite Girl Scout, Peggy Lee.
Hi, fellas.
Say, Peggy, you're still playing up at the Venetian room at the Fairmount, n'est-ce pas?
Oh, yes, I am, but
I
I gotta
like
get...
that n'est-ce pas through that.
I gotta get back to Hollywood soon, though,
What's the
Bing.
matter?
Well, a big producer flew up here, and he wants me to do a picture.
Oh, wonderful. That's quite a break.
Mm-hmm. Well, you might know him. He's with Paramount.
Yeah, who's this?
His name is Barney Dean.
Peg, I don't want to upset you or anything, but I know Barney Dean. He's not a producer.
Oh, but he must be, Bing. He even invited me over to his hotel to audition tonight.
Don't go. Do not go.
Why not?
It's a trap. I know how this fella operates. He gets you up into his hotel room under false pretenses. He gives you a great big build-up, calls room service to send up a bottle of Roma wine. Showers you with attention, and then, when your head is reeling, he strikes.
Oh, no.
Yep, before you know it, you've signed an order for 300 Christmas cards.
Oh, Bing, this upsets me terribly.
Well, I don't see why. You got to have Christmas cards.
Oh, gee, I never looked at it that
You
way.
see, there's a bright side to everything. Peggy, buck up now, kiddo. Let's scurry into the opening number, which happens to be Sunshine Cake from the forthcoming Paramount picture, Riding High. John Scott, boys and girls, let's bake this cake, huh?
We're gonna bake a sunshine cake. It's everything nice. It's sugar and spice. It's a cinch.
We'd ought to bake us a sunshine cake. It does more good than a big thick steak.
Well, start.
You start with,
Tablespoon of trouble.
then add a smile and let it bubble.
We ought to bake a sunshine cake. It really isn't so hard to make.
How now?
Fresh tears,
A pound or two of pleasure.
kind words
You needn't use a measure cup. Any questions, ladies? Then we proceed. Well, it's not from a recipe book, and you don't have to be a good cook.
Or run to the oven and look.
With such a simple dish, all you do is wish. So why not bake us a sunshine cake?
Of course, it may keep your dreams awake.
Friends say there's nothing like the flavor.
Don't wait to do your friends a favor. And for goodness sake,
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's bake a sunshine cake. Well, we got the right ingredients, so let's proceed. Cheerful disposition, that's all we need. We need some happy poetry, we need a lot.
and then you put them all together. Tell me, what have you got?
Add a little dream about a long shot bet. Put on your slippers, light a Chesterfield cigarette. Add a little feeling in your measured cup, and then you give it to the lady. Let her stir it up,
Stir it up,
stir it up,
stir it up,
stir it up.
stir it up, 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 up. It's got vitamins A,
Vitamins B.
vitamins L-O-V-E.
If you're fat, it's for that.
If you're thin, pack it in.
What's wrong if you get a double grin? We'd ought to bake us a sunshine cake.
We
Of
ought
course
to
it may
bake
keep your
a
dreams
sunshine
away.
cake.
We ought to say there's nothing like the flavor. Don't wait to do your friends a favor. And
Don't
for
say
goodness
to do
sake,
your friends a favor. And for goodness sake,
and for goodness sake,
What are we waiting for? Let's make a sunshine cake.
The new Walt Disney picture, Cinderella, is just full of good tunes. Peggy Lee wants to do the ballad for you now.
a dream is a wish your heart made when you're fast asleep. In dreams you will lose your heartache. Whatever you wish for, you'll keep. Have faith in your dreams, and someday your rainbow will come smiling through. No matter how your heart is grieving, if you keep on believing, the dream that you wish will come true. No matter how your heart is grieving, if you just keep believing, the dream that you wish will come
Very pretty, Peggy. Well, folks, we kind of feel like we certainly hit the jackpot in our guest department tonight, because our distinguished visitor is a former top-ranking radio star. I say former because he's been in retirement. He's been enjoying a hiatus from his career. However, we were able to interrupt his respite from radio and coax him out of the luxury of hibernation. And we're proud to welcome Fred Allen.
Well, thank you, Bing. Say, Bing, pardon me, what is that introduction? Retirement, hiatus, respite, hibernation?
Pretty classy?
Well, yes, it is, offhand. That's what a college education does for you. It takes you 20 minutes to call a guy a bum. But I must say it was nice of you to give this apprentice derelict, this neophyte in the welfare state, A touch of respectability, Bing.
Well, I didn't do it exactly for you, Fred. I was really thinking of the program. You see, we feel obligated here to maintain a certain amount of dignity, class.
Class? On this program? Yes. Bing, for your information, I have seen more class hanging on B.O. Plenty's clothesline. Bing, any man who goes around dressed the way you do should never mention class. You're the only man I know who has baggy buttonholes. I am out of work, and you look it.
Oh, now wait a minute, steady, Freddie. You're getting more crotchety than Barry Fitzgerald with me. If you're so touchy about being unemployed, why'd you quit radio?
Well, it was the pressure, Bing, the pressure, the strain. The circles under my eyes were so deep, I looked as though my nose was riding a bicycle. For a while there, I was bouncing so many pills down my throat, my tonsils were black and blue.
Well, all I can say is it must have done you some good because you seem to be in good shape now with the rest and all. Yeah?
I am in good shape. I must admit that, Bing, and I owe it all to those new miracle drugs.
Oh, yeah?
They're wonderful. You know, they have cures for colds, asthma, rheumatism. They have cures for so many things. The Mayo brothers are sitting up nights thinking up new diseases.
Oh, now you're exaggerating.
They're 3 maladies behind at the moment. They have one cure for which there's no disease. They're the think that there seems to be no limit to those miracle drugs. They have even invented a long-distance aspirin.
What's this?
Well, you can drop one of these aspirins in a phone slot here in San Francisco and cure a friend's headache in Toledo.
No.
Bing, the American Medical Journal got out a bulldog edition on it. I heard about a case. Last week, a fellow dropped a long-distance aspirin in a phone here and got a wrong number and cured a stranger's sinus condition in Omaha.
Well, I must say your gay approach to such a lugubrious subject indicates that you're feeling better.
Yes,
You're back
I
on the
am.
way to recovery, and I know those of us in radio, we felt kind of bad seeing your whole show go off the air.
Well, I tried to go off a little at a time, but they couldn't. They couldn't arrange it. It's a technicality.
Could have kept Minnie on just till the last.
Well, the men tried to make it, but she was finally taken out of the building forcibly between 2 commercials. I hated to break my show up, Bing, but the cast and my writers were all talented people and had no trouble, of course, getting other jobs.
I don't think so, no.
However, it was quite a blow to the 3 can't men on my show.
Fred, what do you mean, can't men?
Well, you know those stuffed non-entities in radio who say you can't do this, you can't do that,
those?
you can't. They were really left stranded when the show went off the air.
Oh, they were sort of caught with their cants down.
Bing Crosby, how can you be so selfish?
What have I done?
Well, I was going to say that.
Oh,
What do you want? You have a beautiful voice, a wife, and 4 wonderful children, one of them working sporadically. And all I have is a couple of small jokes and very few places to tell it. Gosh, that line was my big chance. I was building up to it, and you step in with the zinger before I had a chance.
well, you were caught with your chance.
Now, please, Bing, no wonder a comedian can't find work
now,
today.
Freddie, you're feeling sorry for yourself. It doesn't become you. You've been doing okay. You've been doing all right.
Jousting with malnutrition is all right. Bing, this job on your show is the first money I have made all year.
What about Bob Hope? You were with him last night.
But when Hope showed up with his arm in his sling,
you were
a routine about an accident or
you
something.
knew that was it.
He had a short arm and his money was low in his pocket that night.
Well, it sounds just like him.
Yes, Hope is tighter than a ping pong ball in a test tube. tighter than a kumquat in a thimble. Say, confidentially, you don't like Bob, do you, Bing?
Well, I can't say I dislike Hope, but I will say that my admiration for him is completely under control. Let's put it that way.
Well, incidentally, Bing, we've been beating around the bush. The bush is in a sorry state here at the moment. But these subjects, money and me laying off, remind me that's what I came to see you about.
What was it?
Well, on March 15th, of course, is getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
And, Bing, I have a lot of pride.
What are you getting at, Fred?
I'd like to send my income tax in with yours.
What do you mean? Pool our income tax returns?
Well, when March 15th comes around, people will be filling out forms, writing checks, rushing to mailboxes, while the whole country is joyously participating in this great fiscal fiesta. I will be completely left out of things, just standing there with my deficit dragging.
But if you're going to be so upset about the whole thing, why don't you just send the government some money? Pretend you've been working.
Bing Crosby.
What? What did I do?
You mean send in a report to the Department of Internal Revenue containing a falsehood? Gad, man, you have a dash of the swine in you.
Trying to help out.
Being my layoff may become an international crisis. Just because I coined the word there and the mint was closed. I mean... an international crisis is what I was trying to say. I should have a spare mouth for these emergencies. Bing, I certainly envy fellows who pay taxes, like Hope and Godfrey and you. Just think of posterity. People will say, Bob Hope gave us the Hoover Dam. Arthur Godfrey gave us the Shasta Dam. Bing Crosby gave us the Grand Coulee Dam. But that Fred Allen, he didn't give up. That's what posterity will be saying.
You got quite a point there.
Bing, I have another angle. You can put me on my feet and help me make a buck.
I'd certainly be glad to help out, Fred. What's the pitch?
Well, I understand that you're going to make a picture with Hopalong Cassidy. Now, I thought, if you're in the mood, perhaps you could use some of my Western songs.
I didn't know that you wrote Western music, Fred.
Oh, yes, Bing. I'm practically the Irving Berlin of the bunkhouse. Would you like to hear one of my latest laments?
I'm game. I'll stand by.
All right, this number is called Lonesome in the Saddle.
Oh, this must be an outstanding thing.
It is, really. You'll hear it when
Can
it
I
comes
hold you
out.
down?
Yes, if you will.
Thank you.
Oh, it's lonesome in the saddle since my horse has gone away. My horse has gone away. My horse has gone away.
Which way to go, partner?
There are teardrops on my saddle, 'cause it's all I've got to straddle, since old paint has gone to graze up in the sky. Tararoo, tararoo, tararoo.
What part I got? Out on the trail at twilight, my old cayuse I miss. In my blanket I am longing for his goodnight kiss. We would sit around at sunset, gazing at the evening star. Then I'd sing a cowboy ditty, and old Paint would play guitar.
To the far-off ranch up yonder, they have taken my cayuse, and I'll join him when I catch a ride aboard that old wild goose.
My heart knows what the wild goose knows, and I must go where the wild goose goes. Get off that time.
Without a horse and just a saddle, you're up the creek without a paddle. Yippee-yi-yay, hararoo, yippee-yi-oh, hararoo.
very jolly, Fred and Bing.
Wasn't that clever? Thanks, Ken. Folks, a new ballad, and seems to be catching on. Rather a nice song, too. Why remind me the way we used to talk and laugh? I don't need any photograph to think of you. Why remind me the way we danced the whole night long? I don't need records of our song to sing it through. I don't need books of matches to remember our cafe. What earthly good are matches to a flame of yesterday? Why remind me? I know our love has played its part. I'm only asking of my heart to stop reminding me of you.
Why remind me? Why remind me? Why remind me?
I know our love has played its part. I'm only asking of my heart to stop reminding me of you. Thank you very much, and certainly my deepest thanks to the mighty Fred Allen for appearing with us tonight. Fred, I know you're having a good time in San Francisco, but I'll bet you miss New York, huh?
Yes, I do, Bing. But I miss the sounds of Manhattan, the roar of the subway. I miss also the sound of crunching collarbones as Toots Shaw greets his friends with a hug.
Oh, he's a bear, isn't he?
I miss the whistles of the garbage scows on the East River, the cries for help in the middle of the night there. Yes, Bing, I give a lot to hear one of those dear, familiar New York sounds.
Mr. Allen.
Now, there's a familiar sound.
Well, Portland.
Portland, what are you doing here?
Well, when I heard you were here, I just couldn't stay away. Show business is in my blood.
I wondered where it had gone.
Hey, Portland.
Turned out to be a clot.
Are you having a good time here in San Francisco?
Oh, yes. I've just been down to Fisherman's Wharf. I bought a great big crab.
Good. We'll have the crab for dinner.
Oh, he's had dinner, but maybe we can take him to a movie.
Oh, no.
Never mind that, Portland. What's the idea of barging in here on Bing's show? What is your motive?
Well, always along about here on Mr. Crosby's program,
Yeah?
there's a big straight line, and I thought I'd drop in and do it for you.
Oh, I see. You dropped in to save me the indignity of reading a straight line. Is that it?
Well, what is it?
Straight line. Who's with you next week, Bing?
Oh, that. Well, now, let's see, Portland. Our guest next week will be,
Did you say, Bing, who's going to be with you next week?
That's what I said.
Well, I'm going to be with you next week. Old Jolie's going to be with you next week.
Well, Portland, in answer to your straight line, Al Jolson will be our guest next week.
Now, what comes now?
Right in there, you told line in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Next week? What about tonight? I'm raring to go. Let's do it now, huh?
No. I wish we could, Al, but Burns and Allen are coming on.
Come on, Al. Let's go out and get something to eat. And inasmuch as this is Boy Scout Week, Al, I'll help you across the street.
Oh, Freddie, you're so sweet.
Oh, wait a minute, you two fellas. Who's going to help me across the street?
Oh, I'll help you, Mr. Crosby.
Well, thanks, Portland. We'll see you next week for Chesterfield, folks. The best cigarette for you to smoke. And thanks a million. Thank you.
The Bing Crosby Show, presented by Chesterfield, was produced and transcribed in San Francisco by Bill Morrow and Murdo McKenzie. Tune in next week and hear Bing and his guest, Al Jolson. The George Burns and Gracie Allen Show follows immediately.